January is coming up fast. New year, new month, new games. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, games you need to look out for in January 2023. Starting off with number 10, it's Piece Odyssey. Now this game was not announced a long period of time ago. People will have technically known about it for less than a year when it comes out. It's a turn-based RPG and therefore extremely likely to bring me in on account. Guess what? I like both One Piece and I like me a turn-based role-playing game. Basically, it's a One Piece JRPG. Yes, absolutely. And this is a traditional-ass looking JRPG. It's got that distinctive One Piece look to it, and it also takes the formula of a JRPG and splits up the battles so that each person in your party is fighting a distinct set of bad guys. It's something that plays to the strengths of One Piece because it allows each character to shine in different ways. And I think that that's probably the biggest change to the JRPG formula that I've noticed in reading about it and observing all of the press about it. There are more that don't really seem to contradict JRPGs. In fact, sound like they're probably going to improve upon it. I'm actually really excited for this game, which is landing on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and Windows on January 12th. At number 9, it's definitely not Fried Chicken, which is a management simulator about running front businesses to actually run a drug trade. That, I'm honestly completely shocked, hasn't been a simulator yet. If somebody has done that, I haven't seen it. And in all truth, this game really looks like it's probably the best version of that possible. I love the kind of minimalist but standout art style, and I think that it's just going to be a really fun management sim. Although, it's interesting to me they chose Fried Chicken as the primary business they were going to use for like the brand when they could have used Mattress Firm. What is the deal with Mattress Firm? Whatever. Definitely not Fried Chicken. Is landing on Windows January 18th. At number 8 is Season, A Letter to the Future, an adventure game where there's an impending cataclysm of some kind, and you're working to document the world. Now, this game has a really cartoony but different approach to graphics, and a sort of whimsical story that also has an element of tragedy to it that I don't know if you're going to be able to do anything about. Like, is the doom that is impending unavoidable? Who really knows, honestly? I think it's a very interesting looking game, and if it is as good as it looks, I could see it being one of the types of games that people reference when they're saying, hey, adventure games are good. Season, A Letter to the Future is coming to the PlayStations and Windows on January 31st. And number 7 is Warlander, an online multiplayer warfare game that splits 100 players into 2 to 5 armies to battle it out for supremacy. Now, this is a free-to-play game, and for a free-to-play game, it looks surprisingly original. Like, the battles look arcadey and fast-paced and really fun. There's a lot of different mechanical things like horses and trebuchets and fire and just a lot of cool-looking stuff. The world isn't cartoony, but it's quite stylized, and I really like what it looks like. And that visual interest is going to be good as you're attempting to break into the opponent's castle or stronghold or fortress or whatever and destroying the core of it. Honestly, this being a free-to-play game, as long as they don't screw it up with monetization and it's as tight as it looks, I could see myself playing a lot of this. Like, if these matches turn out to be as fun as they look in videos of the game playing, I'm gonna waste a lot of time in this game. Warlander lands on PC January 24th. We'll see it on consoles later in the year. At number 6 is Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, which is a remake of Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. Now, the reason why it's not called Harvest Moon, It's a Wonderful Life, is because the rights to the name Harvest Moon are not owned by the company that makes Harvest Moon. Thusly, the games have been called Story of Seasons for a while. Still, this is Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, remade for Nintendo Switch. And not only is it a much prettier version of the old game, it also contains a lot of new content. Better festivals, more recipes, new events, and more crops as well. If you're a fan of Harvest Moon from your childhood, or love even the recent Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon games, there's now 2 series in the West, this is gonna be a really good version of this game. It's coming to Nintendo Switch on January 26th. At number 5 is Fire Emblem Engage, a game that takes the many protagonists of the Fire Emblem series and puts them into one game, ultimately because there is a dragon that needs to be defeated. Beyond that, we will be seeing the typical tactical role-playing of the Fire Emblem series, and that's great. I kind of see this as a best of Fire Emblem type game, and it might surprise me a little bit in terms of plot because they're always pretty good at putting together a good plot, but really the reason to play this is to see all the best heroes throughout the series and use them in one big, awesome, crazy game. I'm excited for it. I love Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Engage is landing on Nintendo Switch January 20th. At number 4, it is Superfuse, a hack-and-slash action RPG that is highly customizable. Played from a semi-3D isometric perspective with room for co-op with up to 4 other folks. The game has you fighting against all sorts of various grotesques, corrupt abominations made from various types of combined baddies. You play as superheroes. Your object is, of course, to thwart the oncoming horde. Superfuse is coming to PC on January 31st. At number 3 is Dead Space, the new remake of the original, and wow. Honestly, I've paid a lot of attention to anything development related that they've released for Dead Space because I'm a huge fan of the original game. And all of the improvements that they've talked about and shown, whether it be cinematically, whether it be graphically, whether it be the fact that the entire thing is one continuous shot now with no loading screens, the enhanced peeling system they've made for the enemies to make the shooting more layered. Honestly, everything about this remake is just hitting the right notes for me, and I'm super excited for it. It looks incredibly good. The graphics are insane compared to the original, and the original was nothing to sneeze at when it first came out in 2008, but this is just on a different level. I cannot wait to play Dead Space when it lands on PS5, Xbox Series, and Windows. At number 2 is SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake, a platform game, entirely new, not a remake, looks pretty good, incorporates a lot of newer platformer ideas, and I think it really looks like an enjoyable take on SpongeBob. It comes to us from Purple Lamp Studios, the same people that made the rehydrated remake of The Battle for Bikini Bottom, and because they did a good job, they're pretty much given the ability to do a spiritual sequel, and it seems like they've crash-forwarded it. Like with Battle for Bikini Bottom, they upgraded the graphics significantly, but they've, for their version of the game, come up with a slightly new visual style. And in all honesty, I think it looks a lot better. I enjoyed their remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom. I mean, I liked the old game, and I thought that the remake was fitting, and I love the idea that they're continuing and bringing in more new ideas. SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake is landing on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC January 31st. And finally, at number 1 is Forspoken, a fast-paced, open-world, narrative-driven adventure. So, the big thing about Forspoken is the traversal speed and fluidity. Like, that's what they've been selling this game on in all the various trailers and gameplay footage that they've shown, and in truth, it really is a selling point. Like, the way this game moves is unlike anything else I've seen. The plot is interesting. It's about somebody who's transported from New York City to a fantasy world who gains, like, magical powers and tries to find her way home, and it's always been an intriguing game. It's one of those games also where it's kind of been low information dribbling out over a period of time that for whatever reason makes me think that it could be just an absolutely huge game when it lands. We'll see if that's actually the case when it lands on PS5 and PC January 24th. Some bonus games for you. Firstly, Aquatico, a city builder set under the sea. In some ways has a little bit of a BioShock vibe to it, however, is just nothing like BioShock. It's again a city builder, not unlike Frostpunk with its survival elements. That lands on Windows January 12th. Surviving the Abyss, which sounds very similar, but is probably also very different in that you're not city building, you're managing a deep sea research facility, and you're carrying out experiments at the height of the Cold War. Again, it's surviving under the ocean with a completely different goal. Surviving the Abyss comes to PC on January 17th. Kart Rider Drift is a free-to-play, cross-platform kart racer that brings us a lot of what we love about Mario Kart, not as Mario Kart and therefore exclusive to Nintendo Switch. In all honesty, looks like a great game. I do hope that there are some original ideas in it, but even if it's just a straight clone of Mario Kart, I don't really care. There's just not enough genuinely good kart racers, and if it's that, it definitely fills a big hole. Kart Rider Drift lands across pretty much everything: PS4, Xbox One, iOS, Android, and Windows on January 11th. Monster Hunter Rise, which was previously a Nintendo Switch exclusive, is now landing on everything: PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Honestly, in terms of gameplay, I like this better than Monster Hunter World. It's maybe a little bit limited in other respects, but the actual mechanics of it, I think, are an improvement, and it'll be cool to play that on other platforms on January 20th. And finally, A Space for the Unbound, a slice-of-life adventure game about overcoming anxiety, depression, and relationships when people have supernatural powers. It sounds fairly interesting in terms of telling a story. It's landing on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and Nintendo Switch on January 19th. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.